Welcome to datascience.show, the podcast where data science meets executive leadership. We talk with top AI and analytics thought leaders about turning data into real business impact. If you're a C-level leader or data expert shaping the future, you're in the right place.
I'm your host, Mirko Peters. We explore how data science and AI drive real business impact, straight from the leaders making it happen. Today, a decision-first playbook to turn informal data handoffs into funded, board-ready services. I'll walk you through a concise SLA template, a simple costing model, and a 90-day pilot that proves predictable, trustworthy data. Why this matters now, as organizations scale, brittle handoffs, unclear ownership, surprise data outages, and opaque costs slow every analytics roadmap. Executives accept this as the way of data and pay for late decisions, rework, and risk. This episode is for CEOs, CTOs, chief data officers, and heads of analytics who want to stop accepting unpredictable data and treat feeds as funded services. Less hype, more impact. From models to measurable value. Quick framing from my experience in enterprise AI. I've repeatedly seen projects stall because data was treated as a side effect. Producers assume consumers will clean things up. Consumers assume producers will guarantee quality. The result? Firefighting, hidden technical debt, and delayed launches. Executives need two shifts. First, decision-first SLAs that describe obligations in business terms. Second, explicit funding so producer teams can meet those obligations without getting pulled in a dozen directions. Stop accepting "we'll fix it later" as governance. Stop letting your most valuable feeds run on tribal knowledge. If you want predictable analytics and reliable production ML, you need contracts backed by resources and measurable KPIs. That's the lens we'll use for the rest of the episode. Section 1. The board-ready SLA template and why each element matters. Imagine a one-page table your CFO and board can understand. It has 5 fields: availability, freshness, lineage, mean time to repair or recovery, and change notifications. Availability is simple: percentage uptime for the feed during defined business hours. Freshness defines maximum allowed latency or staleness, hours or days depending on use. Lineage is the ability to trace the feed back to source systems and transformations with a stamped version. MTTR is measured from detection to resolution or a defined rollback. Change notifications specify lead time for schema or upstream behavior changes and the escalation path. Why these fields? Availability ties to operational risk. Freshness ties to decision latency. If your pricing model, risk model, or inventory counts are stale, business outcomes degrade. Lineage creates auditability for compliance and debugging. MTTR keeps incidents bounded and measurable. And change notifications prevent surprise schema shifts that break consumers. Each field maps to a KPI you can show the board. Next, classify data products by criticality. I recommend 3 tiers. Tier 1, mission-critical feeds that directly affect revenue, customer experience, or regulatory compliance. Tier 2, important analytical feeds that influence decisions but have fallbacks. Tier 3, exploratory or low-impact feeds. Apply strict SLAs and funded production teams to Tier 1, lighter requirements for Tier 2, and optional guardrails for Tier 3. This prevents overcontracting and keeps bureaucracy proportional. A quick sample costing model to get you started. Think in terms of cost per feed month as a budgeting unit. For Tier 1 feeds, include dedicated engineering time for observability, incident backup, lineage tooling, and a small runbook budget. In many enterprises, a reasonable starter range is $8K to $20K per critical feed per month, depending on complexity and SLAs, with the lower end for feeds that leverage centralized platform capabilities and the higher end where producers must build bespoke pipelines and run 24/7 support. Tier 2 might be $1K to $5K, Tier 3 often omitted from funded SLAs. These numbers are directional. Use 30, 60, 90-day reviews to calibrate. Negotiating producer funding. This is the political work. We need X level of availability and Y freshness for business Z. To meet that, we'll fund N engineer days and require the producer to maintain the SLA for a minimum of 90 days. In return, the consumer agrees to accept the documented contract and fund the incremental cost. Pair that script with ROSI. Producers build and operate within the SLA. Consumers validate and escalate. Platform provides shared tooling. Make funding explicit and time-boxed. Now, the 90-day pilot blueprint. This is tactical and repeatable. Day 0. Pick the top 3 to 5 Tier 1 feeds by business impact. Week 1. Baseline current performance, availability percent, average freshness, MTTR, and a simple business value estimate tied to decisions these feeds enable. Weeks 2 to 3. Sign the one-page SLA, agree funding, and codify RACI. Weeks 4 to 8. Implement observability, automated lineage capture, alerting, and a rollback path. Weeks 9 to 12. Run the feeds under SLA, measure results, and hold a 30, 60, 90 review with finance and the business to assess value and adjust costing. The goal at day 90, demonstrable improvement in availability and MTTR, and a validated cost per value curve. Key milestones and success metrics for the pilot. Data availability target, example 99% during business hours, mean time to detect less than 30 minutes, MTTR under 4 hours for clean rollbacks, and a business value metric, revenue protected, time to decision shortened, or cost avoided. Also track cost per feature. How much incremental budget did it take to deliver a new analytics capability because upstream data was reliable? Those are numbers the CFO will understand. Section 3. Leadership, Governance, and the Longer View. First, board-ready KPIs. Data availability percent, mean time to detect and fix, cost per feature, and business value per feed. Present these quarterly with simple visualizations, trend lines, cumulative value delivered, and incidents avoided. Second, funding models. Prefer OpEx for operations and rapid iteration. Use CapEx only for major platform investments. Consider piggyback buckets. Charge the consuming product a portion, and the central data budget covers shared platform improvements. Keep funding transparent and auditable. RACI and incentives. Codify producer responsibility for meeting SLA metrics, consumer responsibility for validating data in their downstream systems within an agreed acceptance window, and platform responsibility for tooling and shared automation. Incentives matter. Include SLA adherence in engineering performance objectives for producer teams, and tie a portion of product roadmaps to data reliability milestones. That turns SLAs from policing into career-positive outcomes. Procurement and legal. During pilot design, run a quick procurement and legal review. Add rollback or failover clauses for external vendors. Define acceptable liability caps, and ensure contract language doesn't conflict with downstream SLAs. These are practical guardrails that prevent surprises when a vendor feed fails. A note on trade-offs and risk. Central guardrails accelerate tooling and standardization, but over-centralizing can stifle product teams. Keep governance light and iteratively tighten on the highest impact feeds. Conversely, over-contracting low-value feeds creates bureaucracy. Use the criticality classification and 90-day reviews to prevent both mistakes. Future outlook. Where this goes in the next 12 to 24 months. As SLAs mature, they become composable data products. You'll shift from point-to-point contracts to cataloged services with versioned APIs, clear billing, and automated change propagation. Strategic investments to prioritize, observability, automated lineage, and a lightweight chargeback system. Watch out for the risk of over-contracting. Keep the system negotiable and time-boxed. 2 immediate executive actions you can take this week. 1. Launch a criticality pilot. Identify your top 5 feeds, baseline availability, and business impact, and sign one-page SLAs with explicit funding. 2. Fund a 90-day rollback runway. Allocate a small, time-boxed budget that allows producer teams to prioritize incidents and rollbacks without sacrificing feature work. These 2 moves de-risk the feeds that matter most and create a visible path from problems to measurable outcomes. A short negotiation script you can use in the first meeting. We need availability of X and freshness of Y for this feed to support business Z. To achieve this, the central data budget will fund in-engineer days for 90 days. In exchange, your team will operate to the SLA and report metrics weekly.
If we miss targets, we'll reconvene at 30 days to adjust scope or funding. Simple, precise, and time-boxed.
Final reflection. Treating data as a funded service aligns incentives, reduces firefighting, and converts opaque handoffs into measurable business assets. It's not about creating paperwork. It's about creating trust. That's the difference between models and value. If you found this episode valuable, subscribe and share it with your network. And let's connect on LinkedIn. I'm Mirko Peters. We'll be back with more conversations on how data science and AI create real business impact. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to datascience.show. If you found value in this episode, subscribe, share it with your network, and join us next time as we explore how data science drives smarter decisions and better business outcomes.